Hello, and welcome to this overview of new releases that I read that were published in July of 2025. I'm Olivia, your favorite resource for book recommendations you can easily screenshot, and you're watching Random Olive Reads. The Undercutting of Rosie and Adam by Megan Bannon is a fantasy romance and book three of the Heart and Mercy series. I love this book and I thought it was a great conclusion to the series. This whole book is told from Rosie's point of view. She's a little down and grieving the loss and sort of aging of all of her friends because she is an immortal demigod. She's also been pining over the inventor, Dr. Adam Lee, who she doesn't want to tell her feelings for because, he's going to die and she's going to live. But there is all sorts of forced proximity when the portals to the Tanrian Mist are malfunctioning and he is trying to fix them. And they have the slowest of slow burn romances here, and it was so nice to read. We also get our favorite sidekick Duckers throughout the story and revisit all of those adorable dragons. Seven Brides for Beau McBride by Amy Berry is a historical romance in book three of the McBrides of Montana series. Junebug is at it again, and this time she's brought in six potential wives for her brother Beau. Meanwhile, he's invited his own wifely prospect, bringing the total to seven mail order brides. Unfortunately for everyone involved, best friends Ellie and Diana are both in the running, having each responded to Junebug and Beau's newspaper ads, respectively. And it turns out that Ellie was the one writing the letters for Diana to send, and maybe Beau is really in love with her. It's messy and chaotic and hilarious. I love this book, even though I wish Junebug would learn her lesson and that her brothers would actually listen to her when she says she doesn't want to cook and clean for them anymore. Road Trip with a Rogue by Kate Bateman is a historical romance and book three of the Her Majesty's Rebel series. I love a good road trip romance, especially when our travel partners are clearly pining for each other and denying their feelings about it. Daisy's on a mission to thwart an elopement and runs into Lucian, her brother's best friend and longtime crush, along the way. What she doesn't know is that he actually encouraged the elopement of his nephew and an heiress. And then she gets distracted by him along the way. We've got highwaymen, cramped quarters, and even a kidnapping in this chaotic adventure. I loved seeing these two connect and talk to each other with the most excellent banter. Finding Mr. July by Anna E. Collins is a standalone contemporary romance. We have loads of emotional angst in this workplace rom com. Holly is basically starting over in her career after leaving her job as a lawyer under unpleasant circumstances. Now she's an intern at some sort of nonprofit and competing with the other interns for a coveted permanent position. And in doing so, she's working on a fundraising project involving men and their dogs. Her grumpy coworker Jonathan is the only person available who hasn't been claimed for another intern's project, so she's stuck with him. And then it turns out he has his own issues, having formerly been an award winning photographer and having his previous career implode. These two are delightfully flirty and bantering, and I enjoyed watching them fall in love. We also have a great cast of supporting characters with Holly's best friend and work mentor, her brother, and her niece. Tusk Love by Thea Guanzin is a fantasy romance and part of the Critical Role universe. I have no idea what Critical Role is, but I'm reading anything that Thea Guanzin writes. Luckily, I was not lost and was able to follow and enjoy the story. Guinevere is a merchant's daughter traveling to meet her parents and gets into a bit of trouble, or lots of trouble, and ends up scorching her enemies with her secret magical fire powers. And then a stranger named Oscar rescues her and ultimately escorts her on the journey. They're total and complete opposites, with Guinevere being totally naive and sheltered and bubbly, and Oscar being a little bit of a grump and skeptical of the entire world. Still, we've got a heavy dose of instalust plus danger that helps with the adrenaline rush. The romance here is sweet and steamy, and we're just waiting for Guinevere to stand up to her parents. This was super funny to read, and I really enjoyed it. Bad Luck Bride by Laura Lee Garkey is a historical romance and book three of the Scandal at the Savoy series. We've got a second chance romance here between Kay and Devlin, and they're both engaged to other people. Things ended poorly between them with an elopement gone wrong of 14 years ago, and Kay has been trying to recover her reputation ever since. Meanwhile, Devlin is all sorts of cynical and doesn't believe in love. But of course, all the sparks fly when they see each other again after all these years. I didn't know how a second chance romance could be such a slow burn, but it was absolutely delightful. This Much Is True by Vivian Lorette is a historical romance in book 3 of the Liars Club series. Everyone is lying here, and it's kind of confusing until we figure it out. Althea is in her third season following a toxic courtship with a playwright last year, and she's in massive writer's block for her own plays. So, for some wild reason, she starts making up stories about being attacked by highwaymen as, I don't know, coffee table chatter. And basically Jasper, who is a viscount, is an actual highwayman, and he worries he'll be found out, so he keeps clumsily ruining her gowns to distract from her stories. Jasper has his own problems with an abusive uncle, so he pretends to be clumsy out in public, but really he's kind of this scheming mastermind. And these two are pretty much attracted to each other at first sight. Their relationship is messy and chaotic and actually really fun to read. Two Ruins Make a Right by Jana McGregor is a historical romance and a standalone novella. Nell needed to marry a marquis to save her family's financial situation and in the process jilted her commoner fiance. He's still a bit salty about it 8 years later, since Nell was annoyingly tight lipped about her family's disgrace. Now, James is on the wife hunt again after the death of his previous wife, and Nell accidentally crashes the house party when her carriage breaks down. We get some more scandal when Nell's sister and James's cousin are caught in a compromising situation, and Nell is still keeping secrets about her terrible parents. We see pretty quickly that James and Nell still have feelings for each other after all these years, and James's 6-year-old daughter is the best sort of meddler. This was steamy and scandalous, all in a quick read. Love is a War Song by Danica Nava is a contemporary romance and a standalone novel. Avery is the only Native American pop star around, and she makes the horrible mistake of listening to her uninformed mother and team when posing for a Rolling Stone magazine cover. So her reputation is totally tanked, and she's sent to stay with her estranged grandmother until the gossip dies down. Instantly, she's on the wrong foot with Lucas, the extra handsome man who works at her grandmother's ranch. She's learning to adapt to a totally new environment while everyone around her is very unhelpful. But the attraction between her and Lucas is super strong, despite all the realities of their disparate lives. This book was funny and emotional, and I loved seeing Avery embrace her roots. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you found a book or two to add to your TBR. Links to all of these books are in the description box. Like and subscribe to get updates, and you can follow me on Instagram at randomolive.